Welcome to Moves, Mindset, and More. We are your hosts,
James Walliman.
and Wendy Silver, and this is so exciting. Our
It is
first
so exciting.
episode.
Yeah. Here we are. We really have to deliver
We
now.
really have to
Yeah,
deliver
yeah,
now. I
yeah.
know, but it's going to be
Pressure's
fun.
on.
I know, but we're good under pressure. All right, so let's do some intros.
Totally.
Um, James and I thought that it would be fun if we each wrote up an intro for the other. So we have prepared those for the other, and we've not shared them. So this will be interesting.
Hopefully nobody gets offended and walks out of the studio. Right, right.
Do you want to go first or me to go
No,
first?
you can go first.
Okay, I'll go. All right. So James Walliman is an officer. An officer.
An officer of the law.
No,
Officer of the law.
he's a loan officer with Leader Bank. He and I have done many deals together, and as I introduce him to my clients, I always say he is one of my go-to lender partners because he's awesome. And what do I mean by awesome? He is engaging.
I like this, by the way.
Yeah, this is
nice.
good.
Yeah.
He's engaging, easy to talk to, and his customer service is top notch. You know that if you call James, he's going to pick up the phone or call you right back. But also, I have found that Leader has had some of the best rates around recently, so that has also been awesome for my clients and why I love to use you as a referral partner. Um, some other things about James.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
This is weird.
no, not yet. This isn't the
Okay.
weird part yet.
Yeah, all right. Good.
James is from upstate. Well, you call it upstate New York, but it's Schenectady.
Mid-state.
I
It
don't
really
say
depends.
upstate because my husband's from outside of Utica. That is upstate.
Yeah.
And I went to the University of Rochester, so that is upstate.
Where dreams go to die.
Where
Yeah,
is that what they say?
that's what I say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's not Schenectady, which in my opinion is an upstate, but from
Fair enough.
Schenectady,
Fair enough.
um, graduate of Endicott College for
Undergrad,
undergrad,
yeah.
got your master's in education from Salem State,
Correct.
and James was a teacher
I was.
prior
I was.
to pivoting into um, lending.
Yep,
And you taught history,
I did.
which is fascinating.
History and political science. Yep.
History and political
Yeah.
science. So we'll throughout the podcast have to delve into all of the behind of
Yeah.
how that
Yes,
happened.
yep, sure.
Uh, he is a father of three,
Yep.
two young adult women,
Mm-hmm.
and a teenage son.
It's crazy.
Crazy,
Quick. Yeah.
very quick,
It's quick.
very quick. You, if I remember correctly, well, you love music.
I
You
do
love
music.
live
I
concerts.
do love live concerts. Yes.
You like to
I
write.
bought. I bought. Yesterday, I bought
I
nine concert tickets, 9 different shows. Billy Strings, all Billy Strings.
I saw
So
that on
apparently,
Instagram. You're going.
couple weeks.
I was gonna
Yeah.
put on my calendar James unavailable for the weeks of July when he's traveling with the band.
I'll be available. Work from the hotel. I'll do the
Yes,
show.
well, that's the beauty of the job. That's the beauty of the job. Um, and am I right that you also write?
I do write.
You do write.
I do write.
Okay. I don't know a lot about your
Yes.
writing, but I remember
Yeah.
that happening.
I dabble in screenplays and I dabble
That's
in
exciting.
poetry. Yeah.
Can I tell you I have an idea for a screenplay? Well, we can talk about that
You
later.
can.
But
You
sometimes
can,
I
yeah.
wake up with these ideas and I'm like, that would be a great movie.
It's a fun thing
It
to
is
do.
a fun
I
thing
have
to
a
do.
good time
Yeah.
doing it.
Okay. Okay. So last part of my intro for James is my personal observations about
Oh God.
James. This is
This
the
is where it
part.
gets weird.
This is
Yeah.
where it might get weird.
Okay.
Although this is okay. Funny, authentic,
Okay.
mindful, intuitive. Um, you are not gonna mess around with people. You're gonna give it to them straight. You're a straight shooter. That's what I like about you. It's too because that's how I am. I'm very honest, very direct with,
Mhm.
with compassion and
Sure.
whatever, but
Sure.
straight shooter in business and in life, which I really appreciate. And this I only last thing I was gonna say is we often do these monthly brunch brunch
Yeah.
dates,
Yeah.
right?
We
Not with
call it the
us
cool
and our
kids brunch.
the cool
Right?
kids
Cool
brunch
kids.
with
Yeah.
our other
Right.
one of our other referral partners,
Yeah.
Amy.
Sure.
And so I said you yo-yo between no carbs at all and a plate of pancakes. It is like one
very
or
much
the
that.
other.
Yeah. And that's very much me in a nutshell.
Okay.
And hence buying 9 concerts yesterday.
Yes,
Like
you
I am
can just
all or nothing guy
yeah,
in everything
so
that I do.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
interesting, but it's exhausting.
Yeah.
At times,
I
right?
could see that.
Because you're either like fully healthy or eating McDonald's 3 days a
Yeah.
week, and it's
It's
doesn't
yeah.
probably doesn't work.
See, I'm a moderation person,
Yeah.
so that works. Yeah, yeah. But
I always
any
learn moderation. What's the saying? Everything in moderation, including moderation.
yes,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah,
That's
I like that.
interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't really think. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
my
Okay.
acupuncturist told me that one.
Never know
Yeah,
what you're gonna get from an
that's right. That's
acupuncturist.
right. I liked it. Well, that's
Anything
wonderful.
else I should add, or that
No,
you
I
think that
like that a
the
lot.
folks at home should know about
I
you?
think the straight shooter thing, and actually, it's on my list for you
Yeah,
too. And this is a good
yeah,
segue into your
yeah,
introduction. Is when you're in the field that we're in,
yeah.
nobody wants a slimy mortgage loan officer.
No.
Nobody really wants especially now with all the information that's out there, all the ability to get online
Yes.
and find different people and
Yeah.
shop around for who you want to work with. When I started my business, I very much said I want to be
Yeah.
the non-mortgage guy, right? I don't want the
Yeah.
reputation of he tried to get one over on us or he tried to talk fast
Yes.
or that didn't seem very honest. Like I would rather lose the deal or lose the client to a better deal than be known as that. It's just not what I
I
want to do.
agree. Totally
And
agree.
it takes longer to build that way, I think, right? Like
Yes,
but it's more sustainable.
it's more sustainable and it's just more authentic. So
Yeah,
how do
right.
that I worried when I got into real estate that I didn't want to be sales. I'm not a salesperson.
Totally.
So didn't want to be perceived that way.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
we do, people think of realtors often as salespeople, but we're not. We're really your consultants.
Totally.
And
Totally.
that's a role I was always comfortable with.
Yeah.
So for me, it's about helping people solve their
Right.
problems as it relates to real estate, and
Right.
same
Right.
for lending, right? Like you want the best rate and you want to save as much money as you can. But at the end of the day, like, you know, who you work with, who you can get on the phone
Right.
is,
Right.
and who's going to just tell
And
you,
who's
like,
going to know kind of what you
who's going
want to
to know.
do
Exactly.
throughout your lifetime
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
one-off deal might not be the way you want to look at it. You might want to look at it as you're getting a consultant
Yeah.
sort of for life, right?
Yeah.
Somebody that knows your goals, knows what
Yeah.
you want to do in the mortgage and real estate world, and you're able to call them and they know their whole picture, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it takes longer to get there, but it's more, like I said, more sustainable. 10 years from now, I don't want to be like pounding the pavement for new clients. I want clients
Right.
giving me referrals because they
Right.
felt so much like I
Yes.
had their best
Well,
interest in
you and I
mind,
are
right?
similar. We work almost exclusively by referral,
Totally.
and networking, obviously,
Totally.
but
Yeah.
really it's by
Yeah.
referral.
Yeah.
So
So
that's how.
reputation's everything, right?
Totally.
Right.
Totally.
Good. So
All
straight shooter,
right.
I really like that.
Yes.
I really like
Okay.
that.
So I did okay.
You did good.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a
Okay.
little nervous that
I
you were
know.
going to give some of my
I know.
embarrassing secrets, but
Okay.
okay, I kept it a little bit more matter of fact. But
Okay. Okay.
Wendy Silver,
Yeah.
was born and raised in Newton, Massachusetts.
I
Sort
wasn't actually born there.
Here we go. I already listen. Okay, she was raised in Newton,
No, but can I just say
Massachusetts.
really quickly,
Where
I
were
was
you born?
born in Colorado, but my parents moved to Massachusetts when I was 10 days old.
Oh, I didn't even know
Yeah,
that.
so anyway,
Wow,
yeah,
that's a fun
that is
fact.
a fun fact.
My daughter, another fun fact. My daughter, my oldest daughter, was in. We drove cross country right after she was born because we had her very young and we had already had the
Yeah.
plans, so we just did it. She was in 37 states before she was 2.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Wow, that is wild.
37 states. That's her fun
That
fact
is a
of
good
like
fun
two
fact.
truths and a
Yeah,
lie.
yeah.
All right. So born in Colorado,
Yes.
raised in Newton, Massachusetts. So
Yeah,
sort of local.
correct.
Our kind of connection is
Yeah.
that you went to Rochester
Yes.
for college. I obviously grew up in Schenectady. Both are considered upstate New York if you are
And
in
two,
the
and two,
city,
but okay.
right? But if you're in Buffalo, it's not. That's
Correct.
not the case.
Yeah.
And your husband
Yes.
is from Rochester.
No. Outside of
He
Utica.
told me
New
he.
Hartford.
Okay. Okay. All
It's
right. All right.
outside of Utica.
Okay. Anything kind of
Yeah.
in that area is the
See,
same to
you
me.
don't even know that
This
area.
is like this is like this is like this is like when somebody tells me they're from the South Shore, right? It's like
Right.
south of Boston is
Right.
all one town to me.
Right. Right.
Okay, so I'm like 0 for 3 now. Okay, so you went to school in Rochester.
Yes.
You met Jonathan, your
Yeah.
husband there.
Yeah.
He is from that area, and sort of
Sure.
he's from New York.
Yes.
Okay, and
But he's no longer a New York fan. He only supports the
you
Patriots.
originally started. You are also a career changer.
Yes.
You did not start in real estate.
Correct.
You were a lawyer at one point.
Correct.
Goodness.
Yes, I did
In the
law.
marketing world, correct?
Nope.
No.
I did labor and employment law.
You had something in marketing.
Nope.
I
My
hate that.
my daughter's in
Your
marketing.
daughter's in
My
marketing.
daughter's in
You know,
marketing.
that's a good transition. So you are a lawyer, and you are the mother of two.
Yes.
Your daughter's in marketing.
Yes. 24.
Your
Just
son
marketing.
just got into grad school, but I forget
Law
where.
school.
Law school.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So he's
So he's
graduating college this year and then he'll start law school.
wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. You moved to Essex a few years ago.
Yep.
You love it there.
Love it.
Love it
Love
there.
the North
Yeah,
Shore.
yeah. North Shore is great.
It's the best.
Yeah, I came here in '97 to go to school, as you said,
So is that why
and
how you got here to go to
yeah,
school?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I left for a few years after college, and then came
Came
back and
back. Yeah.
raised
I
three
know.
kids
It's
here
the
now.
best
It's
place.
it's home,
Yeah.
right? So your husband is a surgeon.
Nope.
Why? He is. He is.
No, I mean, he's a cardiologist and he does electrophysiology, which has procedures per se, but they're not really, he's not a surgeon.
Everybody's gonna watch this and be like, James doesn't know anything about Wendy.
Well, I don't,
I have it all in
I
like
feel
in the
like maybe
right
our
camps.
conversations have been very one
It,
sided.
right. That's awful. That's awful. Okay, your husband is a cardiologist. He does
Cardiologist,
some procedures.
electrophysiology, yes.
One might say he does surgeries
One
if they
might.
don't
I
know
suppose that's true.
what they're
A lot of
talking
people
about.
do say that, right. That I guess so. But that's like,
I knew
you
somebody.
wouldn't
We
want
never
him.
talked about this. I knew somebody that had him as a doctor when
That's
they
right.
had a procedure.
Yes.
So I just kind of have always known him
Yeah.
as a heart surgeon, which I mean I think that's a fair thing.
Yeah, but if you say heart surgeon, they aren't going to think what he does, which is like pacemakers, defibrillators, arrhythmias.
To
Like
me,
that's what he does.
that's
Yeah.
surgery.
He's also, do you know, he just got again a Best of Boston. He's a Best of Boston doctor.
I knew that
Yeah. Yeah.
he was widely
Yeah.
regarded, and
He's
that's
widely
wonderful.
regarded,
That's wonderful.
mostly because he's a good guy
Also a
and a
very
great doctor.
also a huge music fan,
Yes.
right?
And we've been
Right?
saying, yes, he's a
We've been
huge,
saying we
he
all got to
plays
get together.
guitar. Do you play guitar?
I do not play guitar.
Okay. He
I
plays
own a
guitar.
guitar, and I kind of leave in the background of my
Oh,
pictures sometimes, and people
yeah.
call me out on it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I know a few chords,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I've tried to pick it
He
up a
can
few
taught
times.
himself.
I just
I,
it's and I would love to as well. It's just I haven't put in the
yeah.
time.
I'm tone deaf, so it's never
Right.
going to happen for me.
Okay, so I'm doing okay.
You are.
I'm
You're
not doing
doing
as well as
okay.
you.
That's all right.
Um, Here's what I do know.
Okay.
Wendy is very compassionate.
Thank you.
Wendy is very passionate,
It's true.
and Wendy is very motivated. And so when we work together, just in our careers, and we
Yeah.
have become friends,
Yes.
and I know that in any realm, right? Like we just actually made dinner plans, right?
Yep.
To get together
Yep.
with some people, and it's very much like Wendy is motivated to get things done, whether they're on a personal level or or on a professional level,
Right.
and I really appreciate that, right? Like we were saying right before this
Yeah.
podcast, like you work very differently than I do,
Yeah.
but we both
Yeah.
deliver, right? And so while you did all of your prep a week ago for
Yeah.
this, I did my prep last
Right.
night for this, right? And it's just
Yeah.
how we operate.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I really like about working with you is the motivation and the passion that you bring to everything
Thank
that
you.
you do. One thing you're very passionate about is social justice, right? Like
Yes.
you are very much a social justice passionate
Yes.
person. I think that
Yeah.
that's, we see eye to eye on a lot of
Yep.
sort of social issues. And I think sort of my background in history and your
Yes.
passion for that
Yeah.
has helped us to
You are a
connect over
wealth of
things.
information when it comes to that stuff. You
Um,
start talking about things that I'm like, wow, but
yeah,
I like
yeah,
that. I
yeah. I
appreciate
go
that.
down a couple of
Yeah.
rabbit holes here
Yes.
and there. Yeah,
Yes.
I try to balance that too,
Yes.
because the all or nothing
Yes.
is that's a
Yes.
problem for me, right?
Yes.
Like I'm either all in paying attention to
Yes.
everything that's going
I
on,
know, and it's hard these
or I'm
days. You
all
can't.
out
Yeah.
because I need a break,
Yeah.
and so I don't know
Yeah.
how to find
It's
that
maybe like a
balance.
little bit of news and
It's
one
it's
pancake.
yeah, one pancake and some
A
news.
little
Yeah,
bit
yeah,
of
this
news.
is good. I'll work on it. You are highly organized, which again is a really nice thing. I'm organized too, but in a different type of way, and so I gravitate towards people that are highly organized to team up with because you want people that complement your
Right. And
skills,
well, and
right?
what we do, like, it requires process and
Totally,
strategy. And
totally.
without it, it's kind of a little bit of a shit show. So for me,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
having
yeah.
that in place is part of what I love about my team and how we work. It's just all very strategy and process focused because in this market, you
Totally,
can't wing it.
totally. You can't
Unfortunately,
wing it.
you can't
No,
wing it. So,
that's something
right.
you learn very early on,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Um, Couple of other things.
Yes.
You're honest and a straight shooter. That so we both had
Yeah.
that term on there. I don't. I know that when clients are talking to you or just other referral partners are talking to you
Yep.
or whatever, they're never going to get something that is dishonest or sort of misleading. You
Yeah.
are very much straight shooter, even if it's an uncomfortable conversation.
Yep.
And I really
Yeah.
admire that about you. Sometimes I've seen you have difficult conversations with clients where I know other people that would kind of skirt around the issue,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's not fun to do that,
No,
right? But
it's
yeah, it
not.
has
But
to be done.
I mean, my background, I did when I did law and labor and employment law, and I did a lot of employee relations work. So you kind of get comfortable with
Right,
the
right,
uncomfortable. So I
right.
think that was a really good segue for me into even into this work too, because you do have to have uncomfortable conversations with people. But I'd rather have those and be honest and have people know what's coming on up
Totally.
than to have to, you know, disappoint people or look bad or
Right,
be
right, right,
dishonest. Like
right.
I can't sleep like that.
That's something to talk about at some point in
Yeah.
one of these episodes is the skill sets that transferred over from our old careers
Yes,
to this
that's
one
a good
because
we should do
I've
that.
seen a lot of
Well,
them
we
for
should
me.
do about how we each did the pivot and why. That should
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
good
yeah,
episode.
that's
Yeah,
great.
we'll do that. Yeah.
And then last
Yeah.
is you're a true expert in your field. And I think that this does not come it's not like you woke up overnight and
No?
knew all about
No.
mortgages or I'm sorry about real estate and the local markets and what is happening in your industry. It takes work, it takes research, it takes effort,
Yeah.
it takes consistency, it takes never really stopping
No, I
growing.
mean, and that's I think what we
You
both
don't get there,
you don't get there
right?
because it's
Right.
always this it's changing
Well, that's what I mean.
constantly.
People,
Yeah.
I have started telling clients if you're a black and white person, get comfortable with the gray
Yes.
because in my field in mortgages,
Yes.
everything is very gray.
Yes.
Not everything, almost nothing has a definitive answer
I
to
know.
it. There's different investors that have
And that's
different
so hard for
products.
people
Yeah,
because you
they
want
can't,
I know.
right. But if you have sort of bedside manner that like allows
Yes.
you to deliver that
Well, and I think
news to
it's
them,
having that trusted partner. Like you might not be able to be so concrete in black and white, but if I know that I'm working with James and he's looking out for me, then I know I'm going to do the best I can do
totally,
because I have that partner. And
totally.
that's what you offer people. And
And
that's
you get comfortable. I got comfortable in the classroom early on.
yeah.
I remember early on in my career, I became a teacher. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I
Okay, we won't tell the
I really didn't know
parents
what I was
that, but
doing. And I feel like everybody kind of is faking it when they get into a new career, no matter what the
yeah,
career is.
yeah,
And when I got finally got comfortable in the classroom was when I finally realized that saying no was, or saying I don't know was powerful. In that I don't know the answer to that right now. I'm going to get you the answer and get back to you. And I took that very much into mortgages, and I'm sure you
yeah.
have too,
Totally.
which is like
Yeah.
I don't have all the answers all the
No.
time. Like, but I will be the resource that gets you the answers,
Absolutely. And
explains
then
it,
follow up and
and
get the
figures
resource
out
because that's
right,
all people
right.
really care about.
That's all they care
Yeah.
about. They don't care about you
No.
being they would rather not be bullshit
Yeah.
and have you or bullshitted, I guess,
Yeah.
have you kind of, blowing smoke
Yeah.
just to make it look like you know what you're talking about. They would much
Yeah.
rather you get the
Isn't
concrete
that something
answers.
you wish you knew so long ago
So
that it
long
was
ago.
okay to be
So
like,
long ago.
oh, you know what? I don't know the answer to that. Let me find out and get back to
Totally,
you. Like,
totally,
I think a
totally.
lot of younger people like just like that's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Excellent.
Wendy.
I
That's
think you did
Wendy.
pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Everything had at least truths to
It
it.
had truths to it. No, I think you did really. I think you
Thank
did
you. I
great.
appreciate that. I
All right.
appreciate that.
All right. Well, let's transition into just a couple little fun facts for this episode as it relates to real estate and mortgages. Um, I'll start with my
Great.
first two little fun facts.
Great. I
Um,
don't know if mine are fun.
okay, they don't have to be fun. They
Okay,
just
mine are
like
just facts
interesting.
that clients should know. Go.
Okay. Well, mine are just. I think mine are just interesting. And did I? I think I might have told you this first one, but the average age of the first time home buyers for 2025. Did I tell you what the answer to this was?
You did,
Okay,
and
so
I
then
forget.
I'm not gonna have you guess. You forgot.
You did.
It's 40.
40.
40. That seems old, but it's been a trend,
On a
and
personal
it's been
level,
trending upwards.
it makes me feel good because I did not buy.
Well, I was
I
going to ask
regret
you
it. I
when.
regret it, but I did not buy until I was
Okay.
37,
Okay. So you
38.
were you
Yeah, I was a single
and that's
dad
but
for a long
that's where
time.
the
It
norm
was I
is.
never
That's the
thought.
average right now, the median.
Here's the reason I didn't buy. Not because I couldn't have, because I was a single father. I was just surviving,
Yeah.
and I didn't think I was able to afford it, so I never looked into it. Once I bought a two-family in Beverly, live in part, rent the other part
Yeah.
out, and I remember looking at my realtor afterwards and saying, Oh my God, that was easy. I should have done that before. I mean, I scraped together like $18,000
Yeah.
and bought a two
Wow.
family in Beverly. I mean, maybe that's not the case right now because obviously prices have gone up in the last 10 years, but it's a very little amount to walk to get into that door.
Yes.
Took some chances for sure, but
Yes.
looking back, I mean, I wish I had done it 10 years earlier, right?
Yes.
And so I tell clients that story all the time,
Well,
which is like, you don't need to be, super flush with cash to get into something.
no, and in fact, Jonathan and I bought our first home when we were 25
Yeah,
because
and that speaks volumes
we
to
no, but it
wait
was not something
to
we
who you are and
planned.
who I am,
But
though,
no,
right?
but it was
You
so
wanted 25, I
unintentional.
wanted
No,
38. Go.
we were moving to Philadelphia, Jonathan. I graduated law school. He
Yeah,
was starting medical school. He was going to Temple. We were moving from Boston to Philly. We were looking for some place to rent. There was nothing
right.
to rent.
Yep.
And we literally are like sitting in the realtor's office. My parents were with us. My mom was like literally snooping around desks and picks up a listing for a condo in this and was like,
Hmm.
you,
Could just buy a
you
condo,
could
right?
just buy a condo. We had just gotten married, so we had a little bit of a nest egg. So we took that nest egg and we plunked it into a condo. We lived there for 4 years and then we sold it when we moved back to Boston 4 years later and we doubled our money and bought another place. And I'll tell you, if we hadn't done that, we wouldn't have the house we have today
Totally.
because we were able to buy and
That's it.
sell and double our money 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
That's how we ended up
Yeah.
where we are now. So I think it's so important to understand the equity that
Absolutely.
goes involved. And
Absolutely.
the problem, now, and I think the reason why in large part the age is going up is that especially in this area. I mean, we definitely have a affordability problem in the country, but certainly in this area, and home prices are outpacing wage growth,
Yeah, right.
right?
Right.
So
It's a little bit of a different animal, but it's
it is.
not impossible with a plan,
No,
right? And
with a plant, that's
actually
exactly
one of
it.
my facts we'll get to in
Yes.
a minute sort of
Yes.
alludes to a plan, right?
Yes.
But to your point, like I have a teacher, an old teacher friend who is no longer a teacher. He started doing the same thing that you talked about. He bought a condo when he was in his 20s, lived in it for a
Yeah.
while, took that equity, bought another one, took that equity, bought a single family. He now has. Then he walked away from teaching somewhere around COVID. He has like I don't know, I forget, like 51 units or something.
Wow.
He's a landlord now, and that's what he does for a living.
Yeah.
And not everybody wants to be a
Yeah.
51 unit
And you have to want
owner,
to be a
but you
landlord too,
can
but
use your equity to build, to
absolutely.
build, to build, to build. My daughters, like I said, are
Yeah.
24 and 20, about to be 23, so 24 and 22. Um, they live in a condo. They rent the condo from
Yeah.
a landlord that did exactly that.
Yeah.
And I keep telling them,
They should
and
buy
they're
something.
listening to
Yeah.
me. I think they're saving. I said, in the next year, you guys should
Yeah.
just buy a
Yeah.
condo and
I
do
know.
the exact same thing you're doing now, only
Agreed.
build equity.
Yep.
I mean, it's just a
I know.
no-brainer. I'm actually doing a monthly Zoom for former students because I realized I have like 1,000 former
Oh my
students.
God,
So
that's
I
such a
might as well
network though. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm gonna be doing a Zoom talking about this sort of thing because they're
Yeah.
in their late 20s, right? And if
Yeah.
they haven't bought yet, it's not for
Well,
everybody right then,
it's not
but
even if they haven't bought it, but if they haven't started to save to buy,
right,
they need to be
right,
doing that
right,
to set
right.
up that
And
plan.
I
And
think the
we'll bring in
overwhelming
a,
part is thinking that you need way more than you need,
that's a good, yes.
right? Right?
Yes.
Like that's what I
Well,
always thought. I just never looked into it because I thought
well,
I
you tell
needed.
us, James, you're the mortgage guy. How much do they need?
Well, it depends. I mean, usually, yeah, it really depends. But usually, if
As a
you're doing
first
it,
time
if
home
you're doing
buyer.
an FHA program, you need about 3.5% minimum.
Yep.
Conventional, you need 5% minimum. Um, Usually, closing costs. I always tell people to be prepared for 2% of the
Yeah.
purchase price. It's usually a little lower than that,
Yeah.
but I always like to
You want
estimate
it to
high
be
because
prepared.
I
Yeah.
never want them
Yeah.
surprised on the wrong
Exactly.
end.
Well,
Um,
we'll do an episode of that too,
with some breakdown of the
hidden
costs.
costs of
Yeah,
buying a home because
absolutely,
that's
absolutely,
important. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to just move us on
So
to
40 years old. Okay. What's the
40
next one? Yeah.
for home buyers
Yeah.
in 2025. And so the average age of sellers, as I just am pulling up my data here, was 62.
Wow.
Yeah, in
62 and
2025. Yeah,
40.
which
Interesting.
makes sense because I guess it makes sense. The thing is, in 2025, like, I think people just started to realize in 2025 the rates aren't going to go back to what they were. But there are so many people in that 30, 40, 50 age range that are sitting on these 2, 3% interest rates.
and they're clinging to
And
them
we're
like
clinging to
desperately.
them.
However, we're finally getting to that point. We're kind of, and that's good. Will also bring me into one of my facts. We're hovering around that six
Yeah.
percent mark right now, and I don't know when this episode will air. It'll probably be a week or so. But just yesterday, the Fed met and they came out in January of 2026 and said that they're sort of pausing or allude to pausing interest rate cuts. We might not see another sort of cut until May when the new Fed chair takes over.
Yeah.
I don't know from now until
Yeah.
then, but I think I think we're both in agreement that 2026 is going to be a big real estate year because I
Yes.
think that people in those 2 to 3% that realm, we're no longer in the sevens or
Yeah.
I locked somebody at 8% 2 years ago.
Oh,
I mean,
I
that
hope
was
you
like the
I hope
highest
you're
of the. That was
refinancing that
yeah, yeah,
now.
immediately,
Okay,
very
good.
quickly. That was
Okay.
very. That was like the highest of the high, um, and I think there people are finally understanding like this is kind of where we are for a little while.
Yeah.
Certainly, we might get a couple more rate cuts in 2026, and that would be wonderful. But I don't think it's going to be this
It's not.
drastic thing, right?
Exactly.
And so I'm hoping that kind of
Yes.
breaks up some of that logjam because we have
Absolutely.
no, if we were just talking about the North Shore and up the seacoast into New Hampshire, like there's not a ton of room to build,
Right.
right? So like we need the inventory for
Yeah,
when
I mean, we need people to move
totally,
and sell. Yeah,
totally.
but we're already seeing a pretty busy. I think it's been a pretty active winter. We're
Great winter.
definitely seeing
Great winter.
buyers out because I think the rates did come down. I mean, they were the lowest that they've been in 3 years
Right.
most recently.
Right.
So I think we're definitely see people realize it's just kind of like this is what it's going to be. We should just get out there. It's
Totally.
as good as it's
Totally.
going to get for the moment, which
Totally.
I think is right.
And that leads me to my
Yes,
first fun
let's
fact.
go.
Do you know what the peak interest rate was historically? What the highest one was?
No.
18.6, right, in 1981. 1981, it peaked out
Wow.
18.6. In 2021, it hit historic low,
Wow.
2.65.
Interesting.
18.6 down to 2.65.
When we bought our condo back in when we were 25 years old, and because I looked this up because I was like, I don't even think I knew when I was doing I didn't know what an interest rate was. Like, I didn't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to see what the average interest rate was at that time. It was like 9%.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
now we would like choke on that. But I think
totally.
that's what it was.
And my fun fact is
Yeah.
is literally to point to we're at 6% right now,
Yeah. So
right?
it's,
So like I
yeah,
mean, we're
that's
in this
interesting.
place
Yeah.
that's like historically we're below average and we're in a sort of a good stable place with interest rates. You're not going to see the 2.65s
Right.
again. You're not going to see the
Right.
3.1s again. That
Right.
was like a
It's-
craziness,
Right.
right?
And it was good, but it wasn't really, it's not really good
It kind
for
of deregulated,
exactly.
not deregulated, what destabilized the
Yes.
market quite a bit, and we're still
Exactly.
feeling the effects of that. So I'm sort of excited for some
Yeah.
stability, right? I'm
Yeah.
excited for
Yeah.
2026 because I feel like more sellers are coming out. There's a pent up demand. I mean, there's
Definitely.
buyers,
Yeah.
right? And now that we're all kind of settling to this is where we are. Let's do the best we
Yeah.
can, and then you can like you brought it up a minute ago. You can always refinance down the line.
Yes.
What I tell clients all the time. I just actually, we're not going to get into actually people's names here, but I just uh, most of our business comes from the flow comes from to
Yes.
real estate agent to the loan officer, right? In some ways, it probably should be different, but it's not.
Yeah.
You've given me
Yes.
quite a few
Yes.
referrals. I finally just gave
Yes,
one to
you did.
you,
Awesome.
and
That's
those
awesome.
specific clients said to me, they trust me because I knew
Yeah.
them, and they said, "Hey, we're probably looking in fall," and I said, "Okay, we can pre-approve you right now, but why are you looking in fall?" And they said, we don't know. Our lease is up in August. We could probably get out of our lease, but like we're just
Yeah.
kind of. And I said, I called them the next day and I said, I never like to push anybody to do anything.
Yeah.
I said, but if you're buying now, the you're not going to have the competitive situation that we
Yeah.
think we're going to see in spring, fall, summer, and
Yeah.
fall this year, where people are overpaying. People, if the inventory doesn't reach the demand,
Yeah.
people overpay for houses, right? And so we saw it a few years ago. It got wild in that spring. What was it, 2022, I think, where people were overbidding by $100,000, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just
Yeah.
nuts. Within a week, they had
Yeah.
called you,
Yep.
they had got pre-approved,
Yep.
they got under
And
contract, and they could not be happier.
and I'm thrilled for them. But but also they were also in a competitive situation. I mean, we
in
outbid
January.
6 other people,
In
6
January,
other offers
right?
in
Can you imagine what
January,
if they waited
and
till
I'm proud that we
April
were
or
able
August or
to do that
November?
for
Right,
them because
right,
we,
right,
and that's where we kind of, but it's not, you don't always get your first one. They did.
right, right,
We
right,
were like, we
right.
were not lucky. We were very strategic. So
Totally.
we made it work for them. But I tell people you don't always know, so don't wait. I
Right.
think you gave them
Right.
really good
Right.
advice.
And I think it was nice because they knew me and they trusted me, so I felt comfortable being like, guys, I don't know why you're waiting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I try to do that with all my clients, but again, you don't want to be that pushy
Yeah.
salesperson. I don't ever want to be that.
Yeah.
So that's my fun fact
Yeah.
about rates.
That was great.
Sort of my not so fun fact, but helps you to start thinking, right? Like if you're out there and you're watching our podcast and you're like, I'm thinking about buying, and you're here again, North Shore, north of Boston,
Yep.
up the seacoast, average loan size is over $550,000. Average mortgage loan size, $550 or more, for $550,000 or more. Again, that is like
Yeah.
$500,000, right? Like when you put it in that perspective, especially people at
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
age, right? Like I remember when it was like, you're gonna
Yeah.
be a
I mean,
millionaire, right? Like it was like you're gonna be rich forever if you
no,
have
I
$1 million. And now we're
a
talking
million
about
dollars. It's not. It's funny that used to be that anything above a million was considered luxury,
totally.
and that's just not
It's not the
really in
case,
this area. I'd say in
especially
New
in this
England,
area,
in
right? Right.
Massachusetts, it's just
Right.
not.
It's not. And
It's
even the
yeah,
seacoast in New Hampshire, it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
when I go up
yeah,
there and I'm looking at things, I'm like, wow, like
yeah,
everything is just kind of spreading north.
yeah,
So 550,000 plus average.
yeah,
I was looking at Haverhill because I really like
yeah,
Haverhill as a
yeah,
town for especially young buyers.
yeah.
It's up and coming.
I have a
There's
house closing there on Monday.
there's restaurants.
Yeah,
There's music there. There's yoga. It's a cool community.
yeah.
It's on the river there. Um, I was looking at, okay, what is the average there? 4 to 450.
So a
And
little
so
bit more
I
affordable.
had two different sets of clients that were young, late 20s, that sort of took my advice. I said, okay, you want to be in Essex or Hamilton or Beverly, I get it, but you're in your early 20s, you don't have kids yet. Go to Haverhill. See that community. It's nice. It's upcoming. And what they ended up doing is they kind of, now I personally love it over there. I would just stay, right? But they use it as sort of
Yeah,
exactly what you said. They bought, they fixed it up,
yeah,
they waited a couple years, they had some
yeah,
equity, they sold, they bought.
yep.
One bought in Essex and one is about to buy in Hamilton. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, there you go,
There you
right?
go.
Like you don't
Yep.
have to, every house doesn't have to be
Correct. Yeah.
your
And your priorities
forever
change in
home or
different
whatever,
stages
right?
of your
Like
life. I
totally.
often have clients who tell me they're looking for their forever home, and we get started and we
Which I
get out
hate. I
there.
hate that term, by
I
the way.
hate that
Yeah,
term too.
right.
I don't like
Yeah,
it either.
yeah,
We have to think of a better term for that. But
yeah.
anyway,
Or say it really
um,
sarcastically every time.
well, cause right, and like it sounds so inflexible, like
Right, right, right,
you
right,
know what I mean.
right, right.
But but oftentimes, regardless, it changes even as you're looking because you realize that your priorities change over time, and what you think you want isn't today isn't the same as tomorrow. So
Totally,
it
totally,
usually changes.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah,
So those are my two
yeah,
fun
I like
facts. It's
that.
it's not, and I think that the overall story is like, it, at least with my numbers, is don't be discouraged just by looking at what the picture
Yeah.
looks right now. Look
Yes.
wider.
Yes.
Zoom out to history.
Yes.
Zoom out to a larger
Agreed.
geographic landscape. Like start
Well,
and again, get
and
advisors to
do the
help you do
math,
that.
right? Because when
Right.
we sit down with clients and we do the math, the cost of waiting,
Right.
you
Is
see
right.
very
Right.
clearly that it's going to cost you more to
Totally.
wait than to buy.
Totally.
If the only, again, you have to do it at a time that works for you. But if the only thing you're waiting is for the market, that doesn't make a lot of
Doesn't make a
sense.
lot of
Yeah.
sense. Right. And
Yeah.
having advisors to, whether it be
Yes.
you and I or,
Yeah.
or
Whoever.
anyone else,
Yep.
whoever you trust, whoever you
Yep.
feel has your
Yep.
best interest in
Yep.
mind, make those plans.
Yeah.
Even if you're
Yeah.
3, 6, 12 months away,
Yeah.
it
Agreed.
makes sense. Okay.
Agreed. All right.
So the last segment here
Yeah.
is we wanted to talk about um, moves and more, I guess,
Yep.
right?
And
Like
mindset.
right, but
Yes.
that's what I'm gonna get to in the
Okay.
middle, right? Moves and more. Like the
Yep.
more is gonna be things about things you did this weekend
Yep.
or restaurants that are opening,
Yep.
or we don't have anything on that today, but we're going to.
Although I did just have a really good lunch at Daniela's on
Oh,
Cabot.
oh well, interesting. Okay, let's just talk about that because I just went there twice.
You did?
Well, my daughter works there.
She does?
She does,
Did
right?
she was she there yesterday for lunch?
What was yesterday?
I had a team
Wednesday?
lunch there
No, no,
yesterday.
she was not there yesterday.
Okay, it was good.
One of my daughters works at Daniela's in
I did know
Peabody, and
that.
the other one
Okay.
now works at
And the
the
one I
cafe
Cabot.
on the not
Yeah,
cafe
it's
on
a
the
nice
Cabot.
vibe in there.
Loved it.
Loved
I've
it.
gone twice since they opened.
Nice.
See, we did give a plug.
Yeah, we did.
I'm walking distance to there,
That's great.
and I was in restaurants, so
Yes.
I was a teacher, but I was also
Yep.
in restaurants for on
A
the
long time.
side for
That's a
37
long
years.
time.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so I know restaurants at least enough,
And
right?
I just like to
And
eat food,
they
so
and I love to eat food too. They do a great job.
yeah, yeah, they did.
That restaurant group
Yeah,
does a great job.
yeah,
Plana, they have three different
yeah,
Daniels locations, and yeah, to me it's like,
yes,
oh, this is my new
yeah.
neighborhood
I
spot.
know, that's so nice that you have a new I love
I'm
that.
so
And you
glad
have
that
a
you
new
said that because when we
yeah.
said, are we going to plug anything? And we said, not this episode.
Well,
In my head, I was like, oh, I wanted to say something about Danielle's on Cabot.
sometimes things just organically
That's
happen.
right. That's right.
That's the beauty of
Mhm.
it.
I had a great lunch and a great dinner.
Yeah, awesome.
Wonderful. I might go there today.
There you go.
Okay. So last thing we want to
Yes.
do is this mindset thing, right? If I had to talk about mortgages and real estate
Oh
all
God.
day, every
Right.
day,
Right.
I think I let's just say I would rather. I mean, there's a million things I would rather do that would be unpleasant, but I don't want to do that,
Well, no
right?
one can do their job
No,
24/7. You need
no,
you need to have other
and
things.
this industry is very intense,
Yeah,
and
it
it's
is.
like,
Yeah.
oh, you're always
And there's
working.
so many roller coasters. So yeah.
Totally. And it's like, okay, I saw a great meme the other day from a loan officer that said, it's never how are you, it's always how are the rates.
I
And I
love
thought that
it.
was really
That is
I
true.
thought that was really good.
Yeah.
Um, and so when you said, hey, do you want to do a podcast? I said, that's fine. I just don't want to talk about mortgages the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to talk about
Yeah.
other things. And so
Totally.
I think a lot about mindset. I think a lot about um, sort of life on a daily
Yeah.
basis and how as I get older and as I see more in life, I realize that life is very short, and so I'm very much conscious of like how I spend my time, how I spend my energy,
Same.
who I'm
Yeah.
around, and the older I get, I think the better I am at it.
Yeah.
So I kind of was coined with coming up with the first mindset topic, which is sort of heavy, but I've been thinking a lot about death lately.
Mm.
I've had several
We're
people.
going deep in this
Yeah, we're
first
going deep. Yeah,
episode.
yeah. It's very quick, but
Okay. No,
it comes out in the light.
yeah.
So I have had several people either close to me or sort of on the peripheral of
Yeah.
my life that are either sick at a very young age or have died recently at a very young age, and it's pretty heavy stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so you start to think, right, like every day you don't think every day is going to be your last, right?
Right.
You don't think you just go through the
Right.
motions, you do your
Right.
life, the life marches on, right? And to sort of like slow down and to get sort of working on mindset of how you approach your life every day, I think is really, really important.
Yeah.
And so like one thing that I've done in the midst of this, as well as in the midst of several years of kind of paying attention to this stuff and going to
Yeah.
therapy and all of the things that
That
one
we all
does,
do.
right, that one does, right, um, is I found that living in a deep amount of gratitude on a daily basis, like really, really building it into your schedule, not just saying it, right?
Y-
Getting up in the morning and
yeah.
and 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 thinking
Yeah.
about it, and not necessarily making it a whole. We tend to in society make everything a braggadocious,
Yes.
like
Agreed.
I get up and I do my journaling and I do my meditating and
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
Find a way to incorporate it into your life in a really, really
Yeah.
genuine way. And I find myself being able to really pay attention
Yeah.
to like life as it's unfolding and almost just enjoy those moments much more. Does that make
Y-
sense?
It does make sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, oh, well, I have so many thoughts on that, but, but I think it's hard for me, the whole gratitude thing too. And I think we all try to practice that more and more, but it can get hard, right? Because you're like, you find yourself kind of when it's these forced activities, you find yourself being sort of it feels a little manufactured.
Sure.
So for me,
Sure.
it's almost like I try to think about just like at the end of the day, like what are some of the small wins I had that I
Yeah.
appreciated, that I that I didn't, that kind of, because it can be hard, to your point, throughout the day to really recognize the good things that happen, especially
Yeah.
with all that's going
Right.
on in the world
Right.
right now.
Right.
So just to kind of say, what are the two or three things that went well today? Like for
Totally.
me, that's been like a great way to kind of just feel that gratitude and appreciation without it being too manufactured. Even though we all try to do I mean, for me, just the whole mindfulness is somebody who has a lot of anxiety, who's, I think even through the changes too, right? Through life changes, through job changes, like you have to have a certain amount of just, I don't know what the right word is, but like a certain amount of just, it's a leap of faith, a lot of this
Right.
stuff, right?
Right.
And you just
Right.
kind of have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, which I
Yeah.
don't think you can do till you get to a certain age either,
Yeah.
sadly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you
Right.
just kind of
Right.
have to
Right.
get there.
Right. But
But
once you embrace it, it's kind of fun because
it
it's like,
is
oh,
fun,
what,
but yeah.
almost like instead of being like, what bad thing is going to happen next, you kind of like, you
Well,
can
so
kind
it's
of say like,
funny.
what's going to happen
I
next?
used to be that person. I was like a pessimist in a lot of ways because it was almost like my defense mechanism.
Sure.
And so it just that way I could prepare myself for the
Sure.
bad things to
Sure.
happen. So I just assume the bad things are going to happen,
Right.
and then I won't be so surprised or
Right. Right. Right.
disappointed or
Right.
outraged
Right.
when they
Right.
do. So I was
Right. I think a
a
lot
little
of
bit
us
of a
do that.
pessimist,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
I actually. So as you know, I was diagnosed, treated, and cured of breast cancer in 2020.
Right. Right.
When I was going through that, I realized that that's not going to work anymore. You
No.
cannot go through something like that and
Right.
be a pessimist.
And expect the worst, right? You
And
have
you
to expect the best,
cannot.
right?
You have to believe the
Right.
best.
Right.
You have to. And so that for me was a big pivotal time. And we'll talk about it in different episodes, but like that was the time of when I changed jobs, when I moved. Like that for me
Right.
was a
Right.
huge mind
Well,
shift.
and it's interesting because I think Steve Jobs said it in a graduation speech one time, and it always resonated with me. He said something to the effect of, "If you really want to know how life has turned out, view your life backwards. Don't view your life as where you're going.
Yeah.
View your life as where you were and where you've come from."
Yeah.
And I've gone through quite a few challenges in my life, and when I look at them backwards, on the surface, some events might seem like, oh, that's awful. That happened to you. But then if I trace what
Yeah.
happened after that and the
It
growth
was all
and
good. Yeah.
love and things that came out
Yeah.
of that, I can almost say like I'm
Well,
grateful for those moments. And so to your point, like when you go back to your cancer diagnosis and you go back to being cured of cancer, you can say like that helped you be more present. That helped
absolutely.
give you
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
guts to go
Yeah.
change things in your life. Like
Yeah.
those are
I
amazing
don't
things.
wish it for anybody, but of
No.
course, I think you cannot go through
But to
things
have
like that
gratitude for it is
and have
interesting,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. And
Right,
I mean, I used to wonder, can you really appreciate things if you haven't had adversity?
right,
And I
right.
don't I hate to think you have to go through adversity to get to a certain place, but maybe
It builds some
it
perspective for
does
sure,
build perspective.
for
So,
sure.
yeah. Anyway, we
Yes.
really covered a lot in
Yeah.
this first
Well,
episode.
you know me. I
I
want to
love it.
really
I
finish it
love
off.
it.
Right.
It's
Yeah. Good.
awesome.
Good.
All right. Well, this was fun.
Great.
We will be back and have a lot more information on the real estate, on
Yeah.
mortgages, and just a lot more.
And what do they say? Click, like, follow,
Oh, yeah.
share,
So don't
whatever. Do it
forget
all. Do it
to
all.
subscribe to the podcast
Yep.
on
We're on
Spotify, on
YouTube. We're on Apple
Apple,
Music.
and YouTube. And please share it if you enjoyed
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
All
even
right.
if you don't like it,
Even if
share it.
really,
Yeah. Okay.
that's,
Great.
yeah.